So here we are, 11 days into 2024, and yet another Nintendo Switch successor rumour hits the internet. They are going to be coming thick and fast this year, people, until we get the actual announcement from Nintendo. So as with all rumours, take the information in this video with a grain of salt. In fact, you know what? Go and play the lottery, as you probably got more chance of winning that than this rumour being 100% accurate. But hey, it's the new year, so I'm going to jump in on reporting on and discussing some of these rumours. And also for simplicity in this video, I will be referring to the Nintendo Switch successor as, you guessed it, the Nintendo Switch 2. But anyway, that's enough waffling from me. Let's jump straight into it. So this rumour comes from the website Universo Nintendo. I will put a link to the article in the description of this video so you can check that out from there. And it claims this information has been gathered from the Nvidia leak that we had a couple of years back, and also rumours from sources and quote unquote insiders. And if any of these specs are to be believed, this would be one hell of a modern upgrade over the current Nintendo Switch. So let's start with the SoC, or the SoC, which is said to be based on the Nvidia Tegra 239 chip with the codename of Drake. Now this T239 chip, in theory, should allow for gaming performance similar to or beyond what is currently offered by an Nvidia GeForce RTX 3000 card series, and should be able to utilize advanced technologies such as DLSS, reflex and ray reconstruction. Now, if this is true, can you imagine what visual magic the Nintendo devs would be able to come up with using all the bells and whistles in their arsenal? And how some of these first-party games such as Mario, Zelda, Animal Crossing, Splatoon, and hopefully even Pokemon could potentially look like. I mean, there's been a rumour that the new 3D Mario game is going to blow some people away with its visual fidelity. So, remains to be seen. And yes, I know, I did mention Pokemon, but if there's one series that could use some graphical improvements, that is Pokemon. So fingers crossed. Docked performance on the SoC supposedly offers between 3.5 and 4.5 teraflops. Now if you compare that with the 0.5 teraflops that the current Switch manages, you can see a massive improvement there already. Handheld performance also supposedly offers between 1.7 and 2 teraflops, which again, compared to the current Switch, which offers 0.39 teraflops in handheld mode, again, huge improvement. Now just touching on the memory that's mentioned in this rumour, it suggests that the Nintendo Switch 2 will have between 12 and 16 gigabytes of DDR5 memory, with docked bandwidth coming in at around 100 gigabytes per second and handheld at around 88 gigabytes per second. Now again, I'm going to be doing a lot of comparisons to the existing Switch here so you can see the potential improvements that are being suggested in this rumour. The current Switch, which only has 4 gigabytes of RAM, 3 used for games and 1 is reserved for the OS, it has around 25 gigabytes of memory bandwidth. So going from 25 to 88 and max 100 will be a huge improvement. I mean, it cannot be understated. I mean, this improvement would allow the GPU to handle vastly higher resolutions and more complex graphics much more efficiently, and will give the CPU access to more and faster memory, allowing for things such as improved loading times and much quicker execution of background tasks. Now, after all of that, are you still here? Good. Are you listening to all that? Excellent. Does it sound good so far? It sure does. So let's move on. And we're moving on to the display. Now, the display on the Nintendo Switch 2 has been a topic of hot debate for years, because we've had so many different rumors come out that it's going to have LCD, it's going to have OLED, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. But we've seen the beauty of the Switch OLED display of the current Switch, and if the rumors are to be believed, the Nintendo Switch 2 will launch with an 8-inch 60Hz LCD screen. Now on the face of this would mean that the screen in the Nintendo Switch 2 is only 1 inch larger than the current OLED model, has the same 60Hz refresh rate, but switches to a technically inferior screen technology, and also cheaper. Keyword there, cheaper. Now again, these are just rumours. I'll keep saying it, these are just rumours. So the Nintendo Switch 2 could launch with an OLED screen. It could launch with an LCD screen. Who knows, Nintendo might get funky and chuck in a mini or micro LED screen. We just don't know at this point, but it wouldn't surprise me if they followed the same pattern as the current Switch, where they launch a model with an LCD screen. It's cheap, it's cost effective, but it's functional. Then later on down the line, a couple of years, they then release a mid-gen refresh or mid-cycle refresh with an OLED screen and a few other tweaks and improvements. It worked wonders with the current Switch model. And the refresh rate remaining the same as the current model does make sense to me, because if you look at the majority of the games that will hopefully be coming to the Nintendo Switch 2, they'll be targeting a locked 60 FPS, hopefully. I doubt, unless you're going to be getting a lot of fast-paced first-person shooters, I don't think 120Hz screen is going to be valid. I think it will be unnecessary cost to the device. So I think 60 will be the sweet spot. So yeah, same as the current model, but I think a lot of games will be hitting 60 and maintaining that. So I don't see the need to offer faster screen. But again, we could be wrong. This rumor could be wrong. We may get a 120Hz screen. Who knows? We may get a 90Hz screen. Who knows what Nintendo will do? But the rumor suggests an 8-inch LCD 60Hz screen. Now moving over to storage, which is a big one, pun intended. The rumor suggests a big improvement of between 256 to 512 gigabytes of NAND flash storage, which will utilize UFS 3, which is Universal Flash Storage. Now, you'll find Universal Flash Storage in digital cameras, mobile phones, and other electronic devices, and it will be a logical replacement for the current eMMC storage that's used in the current Switch, as Universal Flash Storage will offer significantly faster read and write speeds, allowing for games to load faster. And it actually ties into a rumor we heard last year about Nintendo showing off Breath of the Wild running in 4K on target Nintendo Switch 2 hardware with virtually no load times. Again, this would represent another massive upgrade, and also makes sense considering the size of modern games, which we hope will be coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. For cartridges, the rumor doesn't give specifics, but 3D NAND technology is mentioned as an option, as this would provide some much needed improvements such as faster speeds, improved storage capacities, and lower costs in comparison to the current Switch cartridges. That's one of the big bugbears at the moment, is that, what does it top out at? 32 gigabyte carts, I think, at a maximum. I think 64 ones are still in production, but it's the cost of those, which is why we get games on 8 gigabyte cartridges. We get half the game on the cartridge, and then you have to download the rest. Moving to technology that would allow us to put all of the games on the cartridge and allow for faster access as well, and cheaper costs for developers, would be a win across the board. So fingers crossed this part of the rumor is actually true. And lastly, the rumor does mention that there's no details that have been provided with regards to expanded storage or battery life. So we don't know whether the Nintendo Switch 2 will support SD cards. If it continues to support SD cards, will it support USB storage? Or maybe M.2 SSDs? We just don't know. And whether there will be any battery life improvements. Now, in my opinion, I do believe that the Nintendo Switch 2 will continue to support micro SD cards, and Nintendo will definitely improve upon the battery to allow for better efficiency if you consider all of the potential new power that the device may have. Battery life is one of the big priorities for Nintendo, so I can definitely see some improvements in that field. So there you have it. Another day, another Nintendo Switch 2 rumor. So what do you think? What do you think of all the juicy bits of information we got in this article? Personally, if any of this turns out to be true, this is going to be one hell of a modern upgrade for the Nintendo Switch 2. And as I mentioned in the video, I do think some of it makes logical sense. Now, Nintendo doesn't need to go left field and do something brand new and out there and funky. They just need to improve on the already winning formula of the Nintendo Switch and make improvements in the key areas. So, a modern Nvidia SoC with features such as ray tracing, DLSS, and comparable performance to some of the RTX line of GPUs would be awesome. A big memory bump, preferably to 16, but With Nintendo, I can see them settling in on the mid ground at maybe 12 gigs. Again, a massive improvement would be welcome. And any improvement in memory would give developers, especially third parties, more headroom to bring bigger and better performing games to the system. An OLED screen at launch would be brilliant. I mean, the OLED screen at the moment is beautiful, so an OLED screen at launch for Nintendo Switch 2 would be fantastic. But I think the cost and the opportunity to introduce a revision a couple of years down the line may factor into whatever Nintendo decides in the end. On the internal storage, I can absolutely see Nintendo going big on this one, so I'm hoping for 512 gigs of flash storage. But what if Nintendo introduces multiple SKUs at launch? So you get a base model with 256 gigs and a higher model with 512 gigs. And with the cartridges, I think it's time. I think Nintendo's definitely looking at ways to increase the size of the cartridges but reduce the cost at the same time. So they either remove or lessen these barriers of having big games all on one cartridge. I really hope that they're going to make an improvement in that area. But again, all of this is pure conjecture. All of this is rumour at this point, but it is fun to discuss and it is, it's just enjoyable to look at the potential. What Nintendo is possibly cooking up in their magical Willy Wonka factory they have in Japan to be a fly on the wall in the Nintendo R&D department. My goodness. If you like this video, please smash that like button, subscribe if you are somebody new, and please leave a comment about everything discussed in this video. What do you think about the potential upgrades a Nintendo Switch 2 may offer? Does the information in this video, this rumour, this article sound plausible to you? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you like this video, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.